They say some blades carry the weight of the sky. The Kris, those sinuous, wavy-bladed daggers born in the islands of Indonesia and Malaysia, are more than tools of war or symbols of status. They are stitched into the very fabric of folklore, metallurgy, and the spiritual life of Southeast Asia. To hold a Kris is to hold a story that begins not in a smith's forge, but in the heavens themselves. The Kris is unmistakable, a blade that curves and ripples like flame, often finished with intricate pamor patterns in the steel that catch the light like memory. Yet the most striking thing about some Kris is not their shape, but their source. Traditional smiths prized iron, known as meteorite iron. These were fragments of the cosmos that fell to Earth, metal shot through with nickel, impurities, and a kind of celestial provenance. When a smith folded and forged that iron into a Kris, he was not merely shaping metal, he was integrating a piece of the universe. Forging a Kris from meteoritic iron was an act of ritual as much as craftsmanship. The process demanded patience, repeated heating, folding, and welding to create the distinctive layered patterns. The smith would often chant, make offerings, and observe rites meant to bind the blade to a purpose. The pamor patterns, sometimes resembling flowing water, lightning, or waves, were read as a map of the blade's character. To own a Kris with meteoritic pamor was to own something that bridged earth and sky, material and myth. And here, the story turns from metallurgy to spirit. In Malay and Javanese belief, a Kris is not simply a lifeless object. It may house a khodam, a kind of guardian spirit or conscious presence. The khodam is said to be aware, jealous, and jealous of its owner, capable of influencing events in small, uncanny ways. Owners treated their Kris as members of the family, cleaned with care, fed oil and offerings, spoken to in tones that mixed reverence and command. A well-tended Kris would reward its keeper. Neglected, it might sour. Across time, countless tales emerge to illustrate these beliefs. One enduring motif: the Kris that warns. Men report hearing a blade rattle in its sheath as if straining against its bindings, an omen that danger approaches. Some chronicles place these stories at the center of royal courts, where blades perched at the hips of nobles would clatter at the threshold of assassins, averting plots and preserving lives. The sound is described as urgent and impossible to ignore, an instrument speaking in the only language it has. More extraordinary are the narratives of Kris that enact violence without touch. In village lore, a jealous husband or a wronged sorcerer could point a Kris from afar, and the target would fall as if struck. The blade, animated by intention and fed by ritual, would pierce not flesh, but fate. Skeptics may frame these as metaphors or misinterpretations of coincidence. Yet within their cultural context, such stories express a worldview in which boundaries between object and person, cause and effect, are permeable. Archaeology and history offer their own witnesses. Old Kris have been found buried with royalty, their pamor read like a palimpsest of lineage and power. Colonial records include accounts by Dutch and British officers who could not help but be unsettled by the local insistence that a dagger could be alive. Whether the claims point to unexplained phenomena or to richly symbolic social practices, they reveal how people made meaning in a world where the cosmos sometimes arrived as metal. To study the Kris is to encounter an intersection of craft, belief, and identity. These blades reflect a human desire to touch the transcendent, to transform a fall of iron into an instrument of protection, status, and mystery. The meteoritic spark became steel. The smith's ritual breathed persona into metal, and the stories of rattling warnings and death from a pointed finger keep alive a profound conviction that some objects, once made, never wholly belong to us. They belong to a lineage of sky and soil, spirit and hand, and they continue to speak if we know how to listen.